Tonight, our special coverage on Israel's war on Palestine as it enters its third month. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Muslim News Canada on Muslim Network TV. I'm Zahra Sayed. It has been 2 months since Israel's war on Palestine. Israeli strikes in Gaza today have claimed the lives of numerous Palestinian civilians, including women and children. Israeli forces are attacking the besieged enclave through land, sea, and air. Palestinian news agencies report that an Israeli warplane struck a mosque in the Al Daraj neighborhood in Gaza, killing at least 12 and injuring numerous Palestinians. Israeli forces have intensified their offensive in southern Gaza's main city, Khan Yunis. This is causing further displacement amongst the already vulnerable civilian population. Healthcare facilities in Gaza are overwhelmed. Ahli Arab Hospital is at full capacity. Al Shifa Hospital, the largest in Gaza, has been incapacitated since an Israeli strike last month. A report by the United Nations World Food Programme reveals that nearly 97% of households in northern Gaza lack adequate food. Meanwhile, more than one-third of households in the south are experiencing severe hunger. Israeli media has shown pictures of Israeli forces detaining and stripping Palestinian men. These men have been taken from UN-run schools in northern Gaza. Israeli media has received a backlash for showing these images. Hussam Zamlot, Palestinian ambassador to the UK, has condemned Israeli media for focusing on these images rather than the broader context of Palestinian suffering. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has threatened to turn Beirut and South Lebanon into Gaza. His comments come after an anti-tank fire from Lebanon hit an Israeli civilian. Israel's military has confirmed the killing of two more soldiers. Amongst the dead is the son of former chief of Israeli Defense Forces Gadi El-Zenkot. A total of 90 Israeli soldiers have died since the ground offensive in Gaza began. The Palestinian casualties continue to increase. Israeli attacks have resulted in the deaths of 17,177 Palestinians. More than 46,000 Palestinians have been injured. Israeli occupation forces are actively conducting arrests in the occupied West Bank. A statement by the Palestinian Prisoners Club says more than 3,580 Palestinians have been detained in the West Bank since October 7th. These arrests have occurred in various ways, including raids on individuals' homes, detentions at military checkpoints, and orders for individuals to surrender themselves. While some of those detained have been released, a significant majority remains in custody without any charges filed against them. The statement says Israeli occupation forces have arrested at least 40 Palestinians in the occupied West Bank in just 2 days. The arrests took place in the governorates of Nablus, Hebron, Ramallah, Jenin, Bethlehem, and Jerusalem. During one of these ongoing raids, Israeli forces arrested Muhammad Yusuf Manasra from the Qalandia refugee camp. Reports show he was later executed. The American Israel Public Affairs Committee is launching a project in collaboration with prominent Jewish interest groups to shape the narrative of Israel's war on Palestine in U.S. media. The committee is the most powerful Israeli lobbying group. The project aims to ensure bipartisan support for Israel's war campaign in Gaza. It is also aiming to control media coverage and spotlight the casualties and prisoners from Hamas's attack on October 7th. The initiative has been named after the Hamas attack date, the 10/7 project. It has been launched in collaboration with the American Jewish Committee, the Jewish Federations of North America, the Anti-Defamation League, and the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations. Critics say the project is a way to prioritize Israel's perspective. They say it does not acknowledge nor address the issue of civilian casualties in Palestine. The news comes amid rising concerns about crackdowns on voices supporting Palestine. Recently, the US Congress has passed a resolution equating anti-Zionism with antisemitism. The resolution is being dubbed as a political move to mute the criticism of Israel. The presidents of 3 US colleges have testified before the House of Representatives to address allegations of insufficient action against anti-Semitism on their campuses. The heads who have testified are President of Harvard University, Claudine Gay, president of University of Pennsylvania, Liz McGill, and president of Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Sally Kornbluth. Students at these institutions have accused administrators of failing to protect Jewish students during Israel's war on Gaza. Professor Gay says that there has been a rise of antisemitism and Islamophobia on campuses since the onset of the war. She says colleges are facing a challenge of balancing free speech and ensuring student safety. The universities have taken steps to combat antisemitism, including increased security measures. They have also denounced Hamas's attack. However, critics, including Republican chairwoman Virginia Fox, argue that these efforts are insufficient. An investigation into anti-Semitism allegations at Harvard and other universities is ongoing. Some Muslim and Palestinian supporting students at Harvard have been vilified since the war began. Their names and photos have been published under the headline Harvard's Leading Anti-Semites. High-ranking representatives and ambassadors from various countries have come together to address the pressing issue of anti-Muslim hatred. The collective effort is meant to protect democratic values and foster peaceful coexistence. A statement signed by these representatives highlights the alarming increase in hate crimes and infringements on civil liberties and freedom of assembly worldwide. The joint statement carries the signatures of prominent figures from several nations, including the US, Germany, and the European Commission. Amira Al-Ghawabi, Canada's Special Representative on Combating Islamophobia, is also amongst the signatories. The statement says no one should endure violence, silencing, or retaliation based on religion, ethnic origin, or nationality. In the statement, the envoys extend their solidarity to Muslim citizens globally. The statement specifically mentions targeting Arab or Palestinian Christian groups, Sikhs, and other racial or religious minorities. It reaffirms that both anti-Semitism and anti-Muslim hatred should be denounced. The joint statement outlines a series of key actions and recommendations. These include urging law enforcement agencies to remain vigilant. It also encourages governments, local authorities, civil society representatives, and religious leaders to combat hate in all forms. Communities across Canada this week observed the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women. The day is held in remembrance of 14 murdered women and 13 injured in a mass shooting in Montreal 34 years ago. Vigils were held in Whitehorse, Yellowknife, and Iqaluit yesterday, commemorating the act of misogyny at Montreal's École Polytechnique. More than 100 people attended the Whitehorse Vigil. The executive director from the Virginia Faulkner Women's Center in Whitehorse said gender-based violence is worsening. She said the day is meant to remember women who have been facing violence in the past and those who continue to do so. In Iqaluit, a march to Nunavut Arctic College included a moment of silence and rose laying to honor all victims of gender-based violence. A vigil in Yellowknife took place at the Northwest Territories Legislative Assembly. Thank you for watching. Our news is produced by Muslim Network TV, which is a not-for-profit organization. We need your support for donations. Please scan the QR code on our broadcast or visit muslimnetwork.tv to donate now so we can continue to amplify the voices of Muslims in Canada and abroad. Assalamu alaikum.